Hey, Ted here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for RUSSELL2000 with Elliott Wave Theory. If you want to educate yourself and support me, you can take a look at Patreon, where you can find Elliott Wave Basics course, access to weekly live streams and extra content overall. Thank you for your support. Let's get into the charts next. So today we're going to be focusing on this index futures charts here on RTY1 exclamation point or exclamation mark. But yeah, let's get started here. Overall, we've gone through this structure previously as well, but just to reiterate and get a summary for this, we have a potential of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 1, or we have more bearish scenario where this is indeed a 1, 2, 3, oh sorry, an ABC up into these highs here. Then we would have some kind of structure doing something like that as an expanded flat. At that point, we would have to basically end the count at these lows already. And this is the way we can be climbing up higher still correctively. Ultimately, on this count, we would be looking for wave 2. And we want to be having that done before one-to-one extension. Overall, at least on crypto, it's more general to have a correction complete before the one-to-one if we want to have that as a wave 2. If it goes beyond, it is likely to take more time and become a wave B instead. On this one, however, again, still it has potential of already bottoming. The actual bottoms that we have is down here at October 14th. We had very close to it, or we were very close to it here on June already. But we'll see later on. Now, how does this become a corrective structure is, again, creating this as a three-way structure, three-wave, and now we'd be getting a partner leg for this structure over here. So another ABC climbing up higher. This would be creating us a W, X, Y up higher. And again, at that point, we would most likely take out these highs and create new all-time highs fairly easily. And that way, again, this whole structure can still turn into being more corrective. But again, it would be just a corrective structure instead of a wave 1 that would end here. So let's take a closer look at what we have here more locally to see what we actually prefer. I had presented this diagram before. This would be very bearish overall. This wave 2 would probably be in already in here. However, this is again expanding diagonal. That is very rare on itself already. And this being a wave 1 would mean that we would be most likely coming down as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, taking out the previous lows that we've had here on futures chart around 950s, and this would be basically the very large correction. This would probably take a decade, unless this is again a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then that would be wave A, then B, and then C. So again, that would be a major correction on all the indices. Am I that bearish? No, I'm not. And again, as mentioned, this being a expanding diagonal is making that scenario very much less likely. Now, also again, what that scenario had in mind as well was that we had a potential low here for that ABC that I was mentioning for the bear count. It is kind of hard to get a structure going up here that much, where this would be again the low, because again this started with an expanded flat here, or at least a potential expanded flat. So generally, if we start a WXY with an expanded flat, those are very much more of a sideways correction rather than a structure that we were seeking before here, which would have been a zigzag basically here. So keep that in mind if you want to be climbing up bullish or bearishly as well. Not that likely either. So what do I prefer at the moment is this count, where we had this as a W, 3 ways into X, 3 ways into wave Y here, 854 and 618 hit. Not really best extensions, but again, they had some confluence here. Let's see if we had something else here. We had this previous area of resistance and now acting as support multiple times. If we come back here I don't really see us having this support anymore, because the more you touch a support area, the more likely it is to break. So again, that is that area. But from here, we could be looking for more bullishness upwards. The only issue that we have with this count, however, is, oh, never mind, this was actually the low here on June. Why was I looking at that like it was not? Okay, it is actually the low here. Never mind then. I take that back, whatever I said before. Now, the main count that I currently have is this one. Let's get rid of the previous structures, where we would have this as an ABC. We have a decent looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We did have divergences from the 3rd to the 5th, and then we would be correcting that structure here on RSI as well in the price. However, such corrections are very large in price as well, and I don't really see us having this as a fireware structure. I think we would have to really force some kind of fireware structure into it, which I don't really like at this point. This being a three-way structure allows us to have a flat, not an expanded flat, but some kind of flat upwards here. This would be another three-wave, and this we would be expecting a five-wave here. If we are looking at this and expecting this to be a flat, we could be looking at these following targets. Most likely going to go beyond the 1-to-1, and this would be the area of interest, well, all the way to 1.382. So 2185 to 2036. That would be the basic target area. That would be again the idea that this would be an ABC. However, as we have already seen, this has been taking so long. It does not really make too much sense to pair this up with something that is like this. So there is definitely a chance that we are still within this B wave. Generally, when these are starting to look like this, it is not actually, the wave B is not actually complete, but instead we would be creating, I don't know, something like this, where we would be looking for a partner leg for this structure over here. And at the moment, we have not yet hit this 0.618 on any of these extensions downwards. So that would be something that I would be expecting. However, this brings us to another issue, that if this is not an impulsive structure upwards, we are still expecting this B wave to take way more time, come back here, create new lows, and then we would be creating this C wave over here. This partner leg again would be just completing this structure here. And what structure we had before was this drop down. So what are we searching for next? Well, as this was not an impulsive structure, it was more of a sideways correction. We're doing this. And again, I don't want to be a permanent bear or anything, but this is what I see here, most likely on the charts at the moment on Russell. On smaller time frames, sure, we can be more bullish. But at the moment, I just don't see us creating anything here. So what my main is something like this, where the B wave again would be here. This would be downgraded into a minute degree, and here we would be looking for some kind of B wave. Now, depending on how high this structure here would go, we would be looking for lower and or higher, lower or higher. If we go up higher, create an expanded B, then we could be creating a structure like this into that B wave. Hopefully that clarifies what I was going after. But that is the main idea that I have currently. Let's take a look at some of the retracements that we currently have. So for week 2, we can see that we have already gone beyond the golden pocket, which shifts our local bias a bit more bullish, in my opinion. Of course, we don't know where it's going to be ending. So again, these targets here are just well, don't mind about those, to be honest, as of yet. Currently, we're still looking for this as a W, X, and Y. And this would be minute. Let's move this guy over. And that would be that. Let's take a closer look here on the more local structures. We had the low here, and not here. This is making us having very much more issues here on these local counts, because these are giving us signals that, okay, we have to start our structures from here as an ABC expanded structure, or we're going to be having to have this structure coming down, ending at these lows, having that divergence here, higher lows here on RSI, lower lows on price, but we have overlap here. That would mean that we would have this more likely as a 1, 2, 1, 2 instead then. This would have to be some kind of 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. Is that a problem? Not really. At that point, we don't have overlap between the 1 and 4 here. It is very scuffed looking. So if we would have to label it, we would have to label it like this. I'm not really too surprised how this has turned out, because sometimes these indices seem very off. Like this structure here does have a potential of being 3 ways as well. If you're looking at extension time or extensions, we can see that we did not even hit the 1.618. So the other way to label this would be a wave over here. Oh, sorry, a ABC over here into a wave W, and then this would be some kind of wave X, and then this would be a wave Y. At that point, again, we don't hit the 0.618, which is the reason why I had it labeled like this before, or why I had it as this one. Now again, if we are placing the low here, that allows us to have some kind of impulsive move up here. And what that impulsive move is, or motive wave structure, sorry, it's a wave A as the expectation. Wave A in a diagonal, ABC, 3 ways, ABC, 3 ways, ABC. That gives us 5 ways into A wave. Very choppy, very overlapping everywhere. So overall, this whole structure looks very corrective. Are there other ways of labeling this? For sure. We could even be labeling this as an expanding diagonal. But again, as mentioned before, those are more rare. But is this too bad of a look either? Not really. However, one scenario or one important thing here is this. These are not the lows here that we had. These are the lows. And the first structure here is a 3-way structure. So we can't really have this as the wave 4, because this looks very impulsive. So this looks more like a 5-wave. So we would have to have this as that 3-way structure. Again, if we zoom in, move this out the way, we can see that the low is actually here. Generally, we want to be moving these trend lines on diagonals through the pivot points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5th does not need to get back to the extended structure here, where we will be tagging the trend line, but generally wave 4 should. And this is kind of weird looking. This is not making this again more likely, maybe even less likely than it generally is as with an expanding structure. So that's why, again, a reason why I have it A here. Structure downwards, not really good. We have to accept this as a B wave here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into C, and that would be completing A structure here. These are probably too high of a degree at the moment, so let's actually just reduce the degrees here, and let's get rid of these subwaves so we don't need to be relabeling those. Actually, they are still too high degree. Sorry for this. You can skip ahead if you don't want to be seeing this. So I'm taking a couple of seconds though. This was the previous time we were looking at Russell. Is not really good looking structure, but I think this is what we had. Some kind of 3 wave into that B wave, or even from here. I think that's what I had previously, and then C wave. Again, these 5-wave structures are probably the defining structures here. So this would be creating us a ABC over here. Then we have a very swift structure over here. And this is something that I don't really like. This more likely looks to me that this structure here is actually belonging to this. So we would be creating a 3-way structure over here. RSI is not really helping us here at all. So instead of this, I would almost like to be labeling this as a WXY. The wave Y is very large here, to be honest. So there is a chance that we would have this as 3. This would be the wave B, and then this would be some kind of structure here. 3, 3, and then 5. If we again retrace enough. We only retrace 78.6, which is not enough for a flat. So I think this wave Y labeled like this at the moment is the better option. So now that we have gotten 2 structures down, we can start to be looking into the potential 3rd wave structure. Second structure definitely does not retrace enough for a flat. So let's take a look at what we have. A 3-way structure. WXY. That is the expectation here. And actually we can't have anything else unless we want to be ending a count of 5 waves here or 5 waves in here and have this as a 3-way structure like so. That is definitely a possibility as well. At that point we could be still looking for a 5-wave partner here. Now let's get a bit higher time frame. What do we see here is a very overextended wave structure. And the structures from these lows are still saying that this has the potential low. This looks decent as a 5-wave move here into these lows. Can we have it into the next lows as well? I don't think it has the best look. These I feel like have way better look if we start the structure from here. Again, it is the lowest on price as well. We could have this as some kind of a flat structure because again we retraced enough. I think on other indices we had this as the wave 1, 2 as a potential. That is definitely still a possibility here. The expectation is a wave X though. Let's take a look at where are we looking for this wave X to be completing. Let's make that a bit smaller. And these are the targets. This probably, since again we have already retraced so much, the expectation is that we are actually retracing a bit more. The bias is already to the upside, but I definitely would like to see us some kind of retracement of this move, whatever it is. Is it a 5-way structure? Sure, it can be. This can be labeled as 1, 2. Then this mess here. This looks like a 3-way structure, so that's why I don't really want to be labeling a wave 2 in here. 3, and then maybe something like that. RSI is agreeing that this could be the low here, so I'm going to be placing that there. And then 3, 4, 5. On the subwave structures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3 is up here somewhere. This is probably the third of third. We have the highest RSI. We have divergence up to these highs. So I think that would make sense that we have this whole thing finishing up there. Like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 5 in here. We still have that divergence there as well. This is a bit questionable, having this as an ABC. That is very extreme. yeah, 2.618 is here, so we would have to have like a 4.618 instead. I don't really like that, so I'm just going to be labeling that as the third for now. And this would have to be some kind of three-way structure. Fast, and kind of deep. The wave 2 in alteration is already a very sideways correction. So what alteration do we have here? A zigzag. That fits perfectly. And also what fits perfectly is this 0.5 fib. Generally, we don't want to see price going below the 0.5, and this is exactly where we found support. So that's great to see. So the next structure here is looking for fifth wave here. Can we have it in? We already have this is a bit concerning as well. We have a higher high here than the previous third waves. Maybe we are too low time frame, so I'm just going to shift up higher, and now we can see that it's not. So at least on higher time frame. So there is a chance that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't think I can label a fifth wave in there. So unfortunately, I feel like we're going to be getting an extension or some kind of diagonal in here. The issue with this diagonal is though that this is looking like a five-way structure, and if it is a five-way structure, it's a leading diagonal, and that either suggests that we have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a wave 1 of that fifth, which would make the extension a very large one. Let's take a look at the extensions here that we have. The 2.236 generally is the wave 5 target if the wave 3 is not extended and wave 5 is not extended. So we have to acknowledge that there is a chance that we have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is definitely not something that I would label in here. However, we do have those divergences here. But otherwise I don't really like it. I think this is decent as a third wave, and then we'd be looking for fifth. Let's check out these smaller time frames to see if there is more likely scenario that this is not a 5-wave move. Okay, now we are going to be seeing something else here. This looks more like a 3-way structure, doesn't it? 3 waves, or the 3 waves like so. This is 3 waves in. Consolidation here. This consolidation I feel like might be the key here. This gives us the potential of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 swings. What does that mean? ABC into W, 3 ways into X, ABC into wave Y. The only issue that I have with this is that this consolidation here is very small. However, is there any way we can be labeling this impulsively? 1, 2. Well, this is coming back to the previous areas here, so we can't have that as third. This would have to be another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, again, we are still missing this structure here. And now this is such a large structure here that I don't think it is part of this previous. So these, I don't think these are linked together. So instead of the higher degree structure where I said that if this is a 5-way move, we would have that as a leading diagonal. Here we could be saying that we have this as a WXY. And that would be wave 1. And now we could actually have this as a 5-way structure, like so. I don't know if wave 3 is actually in. This is very hard to count here. Maybe that is a 3-way structure like so. And maybe 3 is in. We had a major rejection downwards. I think we might need to create a structure like that. It is very weird to see This is taking quite a long time, but I think this structure here needs a partner, because this has consolidated so much sideways already. Let's take a look here closer. There is a three-way structure here, so that means that we don't really need to have another partner leg downwards actually. However, we missed the 0.618, which is not good. Not good. So 3 can be in already, or we would be creating another three-way structure like something like this. I would like to see this retrace bit and then create a partner leg like so, then create a leg like this. And then if this third wave is not in, we would have this as the third. If we want to have it as a contracting diagonal, oops, we don't allow it to go to beyond the 1-to-1. So if we go beyond the 1936, then it's something else. But for now, we can still label it as a potential wave 4 here, and then 5th here, up. But I think that is the most likely scenario that I'm looking at, and all the explanations that we came up with this, the reasonings why we had this as such. Of course, if this just launches up higher, like some of the other indices have very much better potential setups, this is probably going to go with them. But is it going impulsively, or is it climbing correctively where we have overlaps with waves? I don't know. But I think this is the one that I would be tracking and having the most probable scenario at this point. So still a bit more up, then create that wave Y, get that B wave, another upside. If we have a truncation or create this into some kind of a truncated or some kind of a running flat, that gives more bullish bias. Again, a lot of traders are looking only at the lows to be broken, and that means that if these are not broken, they are more bullish, and they are going to be buying these tops here for the potential C wave before again reverting lower, creating this A, B and C, and then we would be getting that partner leg later. I think that is the analysis I'm going to be sticking with for now on Russell. If you made it this far into the video again, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope to see you on the next video as well. This is again very similar to what I do the live streams with, so if you want to be seeing more content like this, check out the Patreon. But that's all. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.